Nothing to do.
Oh my God! Oh!
I am
Oh!
Curry!
Oh my God!
He
Come on,
on.
Wiggins.
We're the 7th seed right now. If the Spurs win this game, we're the 6th. Warriors are going to be 7. I forgive you for that.
Having a career-best three-point shooting year.
Boom!
What's going on? Hope you all enjoyed some of that action, that clip action that I was playing here at the top of the episode. Let me go ahead and get everything set up. Shouts out to all 16 of you happy with me here on a Thursday afternoon. Let me first get those clips from playing. There we go. Now we're in business. What's going on, my playback crew? I'm your boy BTow. Welcome to another episode of This Week on Playback. This time, NBA Playoffs edition. Especially in that Western Conference, it's been crazy seeing you Western Conference fans having those playback watch parties lately. I mean, those standings are tight. Going to be a fun race to the finish. Maybe unless you're a Denver Nuggets fan, might not be as fun of a race to the finish, but it should definitely be fun. And I'm going to let you know what you guys can be doing as far as planning your content for the playoffs. It is definitely time. We're maybe even a little past due for making sure we have our NBA playoff content plan put together, but I'm going to make sure that we get you all caught up. Lakers, Av, what's going on? A Divine Thursday, your favorite day of the week. Mine too over here at This Week on Playback. Shouts out to you, Lakers Av. Shouts out Mike Weisberg. Shouts out Nate Stew. Appreciate all y'all rolling through. Autism Racing fan, that one Boston fan. Appreciate all y'all. So let's go ahead and get into our normal breakdown for This Week on Playback, starting with the rundown. I have a new team member to announce here at Playback. You'll see an announcement go out on socials as well, and hopefully my camera is not lagging too much. There we go. Looks like I'm caught up. Apologies if I do have some network connectivity issues, but we do have a new team member joining us over here at Playback to give us a little bit of help. So I will let you all know about that. Again, we will get into your content planning for the NBA playoffs. And then last but not least, as always, we'll finish with the AMA, where you can go ahead and ask me anything about what's going on over here at Playback. So to get into our regularly scheduled segments, first up is the clip of the week. The clip of the week this week goes to Knicks Film School. It's titled, "You Have to Foul There." Mike Weisberg, I think, knows what's coming here. It comes from Celtics at Knicks on April 8th. Let's go ahead and roll the film.
I don't like that.
Seven.
No. Get out of that. There, I'd rather this guy. Yes. No call.
Ooh!
Great cut.
Ooh! That was beautiful.
Awesome basketball.
They're running, y'all.
All
No
right.
fuck.
All
Yo,
right.
foul
Are we
them.
fouling?
Yes.
Are we fouling?
Foul.
Foul. Yes. Foul.
Foul.
Oh my
Nigga,
God.
foul.
Right now.
Oh
Foul.
my gosh. Guys, okay. No.
No.
You gotta foul there.
How do you
You have to
fucking
foul
not
there.
foul?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Players have agency. I don't want to hear about coaching. Players have agency.
You have to foul there.
I swear I
foul.
saw Brunson screaming, "Are we fouling?" How do you not know that?
How do you not know?
That should have been
trying to
discussed in the
grab his
previous
arm.
timeout. It looked like it.
No, but when
I'm not
Tatum
shooting him
crossed-
there. I'm just saying what I saw.
when Tatum crossed the timeline and OG didn't even look like fouling him, I was like, they're not. They did it. They're down the line on this. foul up 3.
You
every
have to
single time.
communicate that in the previous timeout.
That's across the board a bad job.
Oh my
That's
god.
everybody.
You have to know if we score here, they're not. That's I know this, and I'm a podcaster. Joe Mazzulla doesn't like
He doesn't call
call
timeouts. Right.
So okay, with the defensive, with the personnel we have, foul, because then we'll have 2 poor defenders on the floor. If we score, we're fouling because we're up 3. It's a bad job by the players not doing that. It's a bad job by the coach not communicating that or emphasizing it. Come on, man.
Knicks Film School, I mean, amazing breakdown there from our guys over at Knicks Film School. They instantly called out the fact that the Knicks should have been fouling. And I think a couple of my favorite parts of the clip, one, I love that they put the playback replay branding there. So would definitely encourage you guys, like, you guys want people to know where you're creating your content. You consider yourselves a brand ambassador of Playback. Shout out Knicks Film School for including that playback replay branding there. I think that was absolutely awesome. And then on top of that, their reactions to the fact that they didn't foul and Tatum hit the game-tying 3, and then the camera, the in-stadium camera panning to Knicks fans, like, celebrating right after the Celtics tied the game. I mean, like, the entire clip is just absolute cinema to me. So shouts out to Knicks Film School for winning the clip of the week this week on Playback. Next up is the tip of the week. Oh, and a reminder on that clip of the week, do continue to tag us at Watch Playback when you do post your clips to socials. Autism Racing Fan, you can even DM me your clips so I get some extra exposure to them so I can make sure that you win one of these weeks. But if you do continue to tag us on socials, that's how I go ahead and search for these clips. Just search who's tagged us on socials. I get to watch them all, and then I pick a winner. So continue to tag us for the clip of the week. The tip of the week this week is relatively straightforward, and I think we've actually touched on this before. Market your streams, some places you're probably not expecting me to mention, on Reddit and Facebook. So these have not been, platforms that we've prioritized in the past as far as best practices here on This Week on Playback, but there are tons of users and specifically tons of sports fans on these platforms. So go ahead and find a Facebook group that, represents your favorite team. Find those Reddit subs that are, talking about your favorite team, talking about your favorite league, and drop in there. Like, send a DM to the mods. Let them know what you do. Let them know how you're trying to get support. See what you can do to bring users from those platforms into your playback room, because the beauty of those users is they've relatively been untouched here on Playback. So it is a full greenfield growth opportunity for you all. Go ahead and create a Reddit account, a Facebook account. If you don't already have them, jump into those Facebook groups, jump into those subreddits for your teams and your leagues, and let them know that they can come into your playback room and watch some live NBA game action or MLB game action if you're hosting for the MLB with you in your playback room. So again, tip of the week, start prioritizing some other platforms outside of just your Twitters, your YouTubes, right? Look at places like Reddit and Facebook to bring some of those users into your playback room. And Mike Weisberg says blindly pitching might be the wrong way. Yes. So as I called out, I think a good strategy, if you're going with Reddit or even with Facebook, find the group leaders or the moderators of the subreddit and send them a message, right? Give them a heads up. Let them know what you're trying to do. So that way you're not just seen as being a shameless self-promoter when you start posting stuff in those places. The last segment that we do here weekly is the word of the week. And the word of the week for this week is seasonality. So seasonality really plays a big part of what you do over here at Playback, given that we are a sports streaming platform and we are at the mercy of the seasons, right? As you guys know, it's the theme of This Week on Playback this week. The NBA playoffs are here. And when the NBA ends, you're going to roll straight into MLB action. So seasonality is something that you definitely want to keep an eye on and take advantage of as a content creator here. There are going to be more eyeballs on the NBA and NBA content than ever as we get into the playoffs. So now is definitely the time to ramp up what you're doing as we go into the playoffs. NBA will take center stage. This, from a seasonality standpoint, is the perfect time for you to go ahead and grow your audience. And even if your team isn't a contender, or even close. Maybe they're not even going to be in the play-in tournament. I do have some ideas for you to keep your community warm and continue hosting throughout the playoffs that we'll get to a bit later here in this episode. But do keep in mind, like, this is the time that folks are going to start paying, like the casual fan is going to start paying attention to the NBA. So from a seasonality standpoint, you definitely want to take advantage. And the other mention here, and I already called that out a little bit, is we now have the added advantage this season when the NBA wraps up of being able to roll right into officially supported MLB.TV broadcasts. So if you haven't already started your MLB streams or thought about creating an MLB community, it is a perfect time to go hand in hand to make sure that your audience gets that same consistency of you streaming rather than you just having to cut it off at the end of the NBA season and hoping that they return when we tip off again next season. So seasonality is the word of the week. Make sure you take advantage of this NBA playoff window and also take advantage of our new partnership with MLB TV. Nate says my Sixers tanking. We'll get to that. There's an angle you can play as a Sixers fan to make sure that you're still able to host during the NBA playoffs. So getting into our agenda for the week, I said that we have an announcement as far as the new team member is concerned. And I'm really excited that we got him to join to help us out. I want to welcome Prop God. You'll see us announce this on socials. And when you see the tweet go out, please do engage with it. Prop God's joining us as a talent acquisition specialist. He is going to be helping us bring the next wave of awesome, talented content creators to Playback and ultimately raise our brand awareness through getting more content creators and streamers over here on Playback. And how that's going to help you, the already established communities here on Playback, is the more our user base grows, the more folks can discover your guys' rooms natively through Playback. Not just you guys having to reach out through Discord servers and promote on Twitter and hit up subreddits and Facebook groups, but as we continue to bring more users onto Playback, that will only benefit all the communities that are already here. And I am really, really happy that our guy Prop became available, quite honestly, to help us in this initiative. So definitely help me welcome Prop as our new talent acquisition specialist. Again, you will see a post go out on our Twitter later today. If you can engage with that, share it, show him the love, really appreciate that. And this continues sort of like our ethos and our mission of continuing to include all of our community members and creators in what we do and build over here at Playback. So I'm always taken aback when you all reach out when basically to apply to these types of opportunities, share your love for the platform, your love for what we're doing. And I just want you all to know that it's mutual. The love's mutual. Whenever we can bring in a community member, a native Playback streamer to help us out on the internal Playback side, we always look to you all first. So shouts out to you guys. Really do love the community. You're what makes Playback, right? You guys are the backbone of Playback, and we recognize that and want to share the love with you as well. The next agenda topic is content planning for the NBA playoffs. So let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to talk about today. April 13th is the last regular season game for the NBA. The in-season tournament will start April 15th. And there's really going to be two main buckets of sort of rooms. I guess three we can include. There's going to be the team-based communities of contenders or teams that will be in the playoffs. So you guys will still have some live game windows to go ahead and host for. The aforementioned group, Nate Stu, your Sixers definitely included, of non-contenders, folks that we like, teams we don't expect to be in the play-in tournament or in the playoffs, probably will be pulling some ping pong balls in the lottery. And then the third category for you nationally branded creators, folks that just watch the NBA, it should be relatively straightforward for you folks, but we also have some guidance for you as well. So the first thing that I will call out for all buckets of you creators out there, whether you're a team that's basically done for, you're a team that thinks can raise the Larry O'Brien at the end of the season, or you're someone that just hosts for the NBA in general. If you don't already do this, I highly recommend adding a pregame and or postgame segment to your content plan. If you're one of these team-based communities that's, for lack of a better term, like out of the running, being able to leverage the pregame and postgame windows allows you to not compete against these team-based communities that are hosting for their team watching the game. That is going to be your best strategy, along with shoulder programming around things like NBA awards and the NBA draft. So you're really going to have to lean on sort of hosting outside of the live game window, I think, to really leverage your growth during the NBA playoffs. So again, pregame and postgame windows, coming up with your own pregame show ideas, your own postgame show ideas, that will leverage those windows that the team-based communities are not hosting during the live game. And then also talking about things like the NBA draft, talking about things like the NBA award scene, who's going to win MVP, what's Draymond doing in the defensive player of the year market, things like that will keep your community active and keep them warm, even if your team kind of stinks like the Sixers do. So definitely think about shoulder programming content you can do. And honestly, we haven't seen a ton of this content being hosted for right now. So again, while the contenders are hosting the live game action and focusing on that, if your team's out of it, you have a perfect niche to slide in here to host some of this shoulder programming for sure. The last thing that you can honestly do if you're one of these teams that's been eliminated is, and I actually saw this from, I believe, The Hive, which is a Top Shot community that normally hosts for the Charlotte Hornets, but you can adopt fandom. So if you have, like, let's say you're a Western Conference team-based community and you've got an Eastern Conference team that you all enjoy, or maybe a former player of yours has joined a different franchise that you want to root for, you can adopt fandom if you think your community has an adopted fandom group. So The Hive over there, I know Aaron, who helps run The Hive, is originally from Cleveland. He's a Cleveland fan. They have become adopted Cleveland Cavaliers fans for the NBA playoffs. They will be hosting in the Hive room for Cleveland Cavaliers games in the playoffs. You can do the same. You can absolutely do the same. If you need some ideas for who to host for, no one better to ask than your community. Go ahead and ask them, hey, if we hosted for, Thunder games, would you guys watch? Is there a player that you all want to watch throughout the playoffs? These are all good ways to make sure you keep your room active and hosting during, again, the time in the schedule for the NBA where the most eyeballs are going to be on the NBA product. So you definitely want to take advantage of this time period. For you national NBA creators as well, the folks that'll sort of be like watching whatever game, I encourage you, and this is probably no surprise, and you're probably already thinking of it this way, pick the largest markets, pick the teams that are getting the most attention. Probably comes to no surprise, Lakers, Warriors, Celtics. These are teams that drive huge numbers. Lots of eyeballs are going to be on them. So being able to use those games to your advantage will be huge. So definitely take a look at the schedule, see what you can host for, and try to fit teams that have these really big fan bases into your schedule if you can. Lastly, as your season wraps up, whether you're a team-based community that's basically done for now, whether, you get eliminated in the conference finals, in the finals, a season wrap-up is a really good idea. Make sure you thank your community for rocking with you every step along the way for the entire NBA season. Let them know what your content plan is post-NBA season. Again, hosting for the MLB is a perfect way to keep your momentum going as far as keeping your streams active and your room active. But even if you're not a community that's going to be hosting for the MLB, you want to keep your users warm. You don't just want to cut the streams off and say, okay, I'll see you next season, next time we tip off. That is a surefire way to lose some of your audience. So make sure you're regularly scheduling content and thinking about ways that you can keep your room active throughout the offseason. Again, ideas here, the NBA draft comes in late June. NBA awards are not announced until the summer as well. As we get into the offseason, NBA free agency becomes an interesting topic of conversation. So certainly think of ways you can keep your room active. You all have done a great job hosting all season to build this momentum, to grow your communities. Don't let it just stop. Don't let your momentum stop. Keep it rolling. And again, you can do that by hosting for the MLB and also adding some shoulder programming for the NBA around things like the draft, awards, free agency, and whatever else you can think of. We do see communities host karaoke sessions. They'll do album release parties together, right? Like, you can feel free to get creative. It doesn't just have to be NBA related or MLB related or even sports related. The key component here is you want to keep your community coming back to your playback room on a regular cadence until we can get to the start of next season. And Autism Racing Fan, great call out. You do NASCAR content. If you want to host, some shoulder programming for a completely other league or sport, Another great way to keep your audience active during the offseason, the NFL. I know we got a lot of NFL fans here. People are always asking us, when's the NFL coming to Playback? When's the NFL coming to Playback? For those of you that do best ball, fantasy football, right? Like NFL daily fantasy sports, things like that. Or if you're just a big NFL fan, like NFL drafts coming up, right? All of that sort of fantasy and best ball content. Now's the time that starts to ramp up. So think of ways that you can use your playback room outside of just live NBA games to, again, keep your audience warm and let them know that Playback will continue to be the home of where you host content. And with that, we're going to keep it short this week. Just wanted to make sure you all are ready and rocking with us for the NBA playoffs and thinking about how you can stream as much as possible, not only through the playoffs, but again, keeping your room active as we head into the offseason, rolling into next season. So we can go ahead and get into the AMA portion. Hit me with those stage requests, folks. Again, just keep the questions respectful. And if you do have a question and you don't want to hop on stage, you can go ahead and drop it in the room chat, and I'll go ahead and answer those after I get to the stage requests. We do have a stage request. Autism Racing Fan, your stage request has been accepted. Come on up.
Happy Thursday.
What's going on, man? Welcome back to This Week on Playback. What's your question?
I have a question. Is there going to be Amazon Prime support for Playback? Because I know that the next 5 races in May through June are going to be NASCAR races.
And they're on Prime, I imagine. Yep.
Yeah. So that was my question about, would there be Amazon Prime support in the
Great
near
question. Great question, and appreciated Autism Racing Fan. We do not have support for Amazon Prime right now. Definitely something we're taking a look at, as a lot of you probably know. They're going to be a big part of the NBA scene next season. So, of course, with our relationship with the NBA, support for Prime is definitely something that we're looking into, but something that you should probably think of more so along the timelines of tip-off for next NBA season. Nothing in the works in the near future, but great question, Autism Racing Fan. Appreciate you hopping up, as always. While I'm waiting for more stage requests, Team Mobley here, Mike. Let's go, baby. Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year. Nate Stu asks, so I was wondering, under the discovery part of Playback, could you do specific categories where if a user is looking for a specific sport, it could lead them to that sport? Phenomenal question, Nate. So this is something that our teams talked about internally as well. It's also a suggestion that's come through our Canny product feedback suggestions. This is something that we definitely have to build, right? We have thrown it around as sort of like game first discovery as the concept, but if you're an NBA fan or an MLB fan, or even down to a team or potentially even player level, you should be able to see all the rooms that are streaming for that player or that team or that league. So absolutely, this is something as far as like a discovery view that we want to build. Full transparency, I think one of the main reasons we haven't done it yet is we're looking to bring more content creators on to make sure we have more leagues, more teams, right? More players covered from a content creation standpoint. So if you know a content creator for a team that really isn't covered on Playback yet, let them know. Let them know that they need to sign up for Playback. We're going to move eventually to a game first discovery model, and there are no creators for X team. So, hey, you can get in on the ground floor nice and early, be the first team-based creator for that team. And that way you can help us help make that a reality. So yeah, definitely let folks know that, would make good content creators. If we don't have their team on Playback, what a perfect opportunity for them to seize. Looks like we have another stage request. Lakers Ave, come on up. Request has been accepted. What's going on, Lakers Ave? What's your question?
Everybody, what up, BTow? Happy Thursday. Appreciate you hosting another
Thursday
on Playback. Always my favorite time to tap in and see what's going on, what's new. I had a couple questions, but I'll keep it short this week. I had one of my members in the room ask about split screen streams or something like that, or like a multi-stream, like, when it's like fourth quarter, it's down to the wire and you don't want to miss any key moments. So you kind of want to split it to see I was just wondering if that was something that you guys had thought about, or if it was a suggestion that anybody had brought up in the past. I just think it would be a cool feature. You know what I mean? Like being able to multi-stream at the same time, or at least splitting the screen to where you can see just crucial moments between two games. I thought that would be kind of cool. And
go ahead.
And I just wanted to add, just the adding the gifts part for mobile. That was about it. I think that would be kind of cool because I think it's only a computer feature as of right now. I think that would be awesome. So yeah, those are my 2 questions this week. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Lakers Av, and both are great questions. I think adding sort of Jiffy and GIF support to mobile is a no-brainer. I honestly didn't realize that we didn't have support for that. So I can honestly probably just drop that Canny suggestion in. That's something that seems like a no-brainer that we should add. And yeah, the idea of picture-in-picture or a multi-viewer is something that has been brought up many times and something that we absolutely need to build. Don't have an ETA on that quite yet, and not entirely sure, honestly, what the first version of that will look like. We've kicked around a couple of ideas, like some picture-in-picture ideas, some ideas of like a full multi-viewer with multiple sort of streams in the same backdrop. So we will get a way for you to have multiple content sources on stream behind you at the same time. What that V1 looks like, I'm not quite sure yet, and what that time frame looks like to release the V1, I'm not quite sure yet. But again, keep tuning into these every week, and I'm sure we'll have an update for you one of these weeks that, multi-viewer or picture-in-picture are on their way. Appreciate you hopping up, Lakers Av, and great question. Will DVR features be ready by play-in for the playoffs at stream? Rewind, the last update I got, we should hopefully be live for the playoffs. We should hopefully be live for the playoff stream, but don't hold that to me yet. Don't hold me to that yet, I should say, but plan would be to be live for the playoffs with Rewind mode. Great question. C Rhythm asks, when is the Apple TV/Smart TV app coming? So the TV app isn't really fully under development yet. We haven't really fully kicked off that project yet. In the meantime, we're actually going to be working on casting. So full casting support coming first, and that's been in the works. So should have an update for you on this show next week. Again, keep tuning in. And then the TV app we'll start work on after we release casting support. Yeah, Nate's too. It's funny. My mom too, and I think moms everywhere, parents everywhere, have been asking about casting. Kevin and I like to talk about passing the mom test, and one part of the mom test was definitely we want the games on our TV. And it looks like Mike Weisberg saying he hasn't really had issues casting with Chrome and Apple TV. So for those of you that want to go ahead and test it out, while it's not officially supported yet, give it a try. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work. Best case scenario, you're like Mike Weisberg and it does work. Any other stage requests or questions in chat? And C Rhythm says AirPlay is working as well for them. So yeah, if you do want to try casting to your devices or AirPlaying right to an Apple device, absolutely encourage you to go ahead and try it. Again, it's not officially supported yet, so apologies if you do run into any bugs or any issues, but certainly worth a try. Any other questions? Looks like we have one more stage request, and then we'll jump off. It's Autism Racing Fan again. Come back up, my man. What's going on, Autism Racing Fan?
Hey, I got another suggestion, and then we were talking about this in the chat about playback streaks.
Yes.
Because I was thinking about doing is streaks. So how many days in a row you stream?
I love this idea. And this is an idea that I'm kind of surprised. I'm not even sure if I've heard it before, or I've seen it like surfaced in our canny. But Autism Racing Fan, I love this idea. As far as just to ask one follow-up question.
What is it?
As far as how you see like the value of having a streak, what would you, I guess, what would you want your audience to see as far as like what the streak is? Would you want it to be on Discovery? Would you want like a badge associated with that?
What about like do like 2 options? If you're streaming like if like for the Creator Partner Program, if you're streaming like NBA or NASCAR or like MLB, for example, and then if players tune into the cast, that would be like a streak upset. Like for example, like 7 days. It's like you can do like a total of 7 days, or you can do it 5 days, or whatever days that you can have a streak.
Yep. So how would you want everyone to be able to see your streak, I guess is my question. Is that something where like from our homepage?
Like on the homepage, like a daily login.
Got it. So you would see it as like the creator or as a community member, you would see the streak. Would you also want like the general public who like, you know, when they're on the Playback homepage, would you want your streak to be visible somewhere there as well? Or do you think it's just enough for the
I think on the homepage, like on the top, because I know we still want to see the Playback users and all the other stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it. So sort of like from Discovery at the top, you can see maybe, and I see chats tuning in here or chiming in here and they like it as well. Maybe like a fire emoji or some sort of emoji that's indicating a streak. And then just like the number of consecutive days that your room's been active streaming. Absolutely love the idea, Autism Racing fan. Appreciate you hopping on to clarify it. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
I love the idea, and it looks like chat loves the idea. You know what? W's in chat if you like the idea of going streaking on Playback, not just with power chats, but also with days streamed. Yeah. This seems like something that chat likes. So you know what, chat? I'll take the canny post. I'll go ahead and submit the product feedback. Once I do, as a matter of fact, maybe we can do this live as one more exercise before we hop off, since I've got a little bit of extra time here. Let's see if we can do this live together to see so you all can see what this process looks like when we give Kevin and our product team feedback. So let me share my screen here. So I'm going to drop the link in chat to where I am. This is our canny page. So you can see I'm under the product feedback section. That's what I just linked here. So short descriptive title, we're going to say Playback Room Streaks. Details, Playback Rooms should be able to display how many consecutive days they have streamed. This would ideally be visible. Let's see from the community profile page, as well as in the Discovery homepage. We're going to assign a category here. This seems like it's community management adjacent. Let me make sure that's the best place for it. Yeah, nah. We're going to call this streaming. And then you go ahead and just hit create post. You can attach stuff. So if you have like screenshots, or even if like you want to sketch out an idea of what you're thinking, you can always attach stuff. Go ahead and hit create post. I am going to have to go ahead and log in. And there we go. You can see I've created this post. Now, if you all go ahead and hit that link that I just dropped, you'll see this little vote, this upvote thing. If you like this idea, go hit it with an upvote, right? So this is how we decide what to prioritize. Go ahead and hit this with an upvote if you like this idea. And again, you can see all of the ideas here in product feedback. Go ahead and hit them with upvotes if you like the idea. It looks like room raids and room collabs are heavy in the lead right now. But again, we really value your feedback. So please, please, please send us your ideas here and do upvote the ideas that you like. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate it. Any other questions before we get on out of here? Mike G's always down for streaking. It looks like that's it. Hey, shouts out to you, all of you, for joining me. Special shout out to you, Autism Racing fan. I absolutely love the idea of streaming streaks here, and you got my mind racing for sure. We'll see you guys again next week, same time, same place, Thursday, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. NBA playoffs will be underway. MLB season's in full force. We're trending up over here at Playback, and it's all thanks to you content creators. So thanks again for rocking with me for another episode of This Week on Playback. I'm your boy BTow. We'll see you next week, fam. Later.